Hey, y'all, it's Kim Gravel, and welcome to the Kim Gravel Show. It's going to be a good one. Great guest today. Not going to give it all away right now. Zach, you said you've got something. I always get worried when you say, I've got just open the show, and then I'll take it over.
This is what I said to Kim. I said, just start the show, Kim. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing. Okay, so today, Kim, I'm completely putting you on the spot. We have an extreme skier, a couple extreme skiers on the show today.
I know.
I don't want to give it away. They have an incredible story you have to stick around for. But I want to know, Kim, I want to hear your sports stories. Do you have any sports stories? Because from when you were a kid or like a sports injury maybe that you had to recover from?
I didn't have a sports injury because I never really tried in sports. So let me just tell you.
I'm so glad this is the direction it's going. Yes, Kim? Okay, go on.
Okay, first of all, you're taking a little bit too much joy in my non-athletic ability. Uh-huh. Okay, now let me just say this. Let me break it down to y'all. So when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a cheerleader. It's a true story. And let me tell you something. Cheerleaders are athletes. Period. 100%. I don't want you to question it.
Watch any cheerleading movie. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to be a cheerleader, and I was tall and lanky at the time. I was like 5'8.5" at 10 years old. So I was always tall, and my mother said, absolutely not. Can you be a cheerleader?
Why?
This is true. She said, I will never forget the words that came out of her mouth to me. She said, are you kidding me, Kim? You are so klutzy and not athletic at all. You will kill yourself. I remember these words vividly. And plus, you can't scream and yell. You've got and plus you can't scream and yell. You'll ruin your voice. You're a good singer. Absolutely not. You're not going to be a cheerleader. And then she said, but you can play some tennis. And so I went and played tennis and hated it. What I loved about tennis was the little sandwiches and cookies and snacks you got in between the matches.
So you liked the tennis buffet?
The tennis buffet.
Finger sandwiches. So I'm picturing Kim, you're in your tennis whites and you're eating a tiny little sandwich.
I looked the part, people. Don't think I didn't come correct looking the part.
Okay. So I guess the lesson is what, Kim?
I got one more. So when I was in, I think the 9th grade or 10th grade, I can't remember what grade it was. But the Booster Club ran by the football team, Parkview High School, in Gwinnett County. They were cutting the arts program. I played the viola. I was in the orchestra in school. And don't judge me for that either. Okay. All you little cool people. Kim was cool, just in her own way. And so I was in orchestra and I played the viola. And, I remember I was in love with the bass player. He was a football player too. His name was Dusty. Anyway, let me focus. And so, Lord, Dusty. God.
You really had a moment there. You were like, and his name is Dusty.
Because I remember he was a football player. Because I'm going somewhere with this. Stay with me. So they were cutting the arts program at Parkview High School. And so I decided I was going to go and try out for football on protest.
Okay.
Because they were cutting the arts program. And I was just like, I was going to make them deal with a female football player. It didn't go well. And I put on the pads and said, I'll never do this again. Murder, death, kill. I can't do it. So to say I'm athletic is I've got a great personality.
Wait, what? Wait, I want to know what happened. You put on the pads. You went.
I never tell what happened. If anybody's watching this that remembers that, if you ever speak a word of it, my protest did not go well. Let me just say that.
Could you walk away from your protest?
I still have a limp. Because and let me just say, the guys were fantastic. They took it in stride. I'm just that klutzy. It has nothing to do with being hit playing football. Everything to do with my non-athletic ability. My talents lie elsewhere, people.
All right, Kim, let's start the show.
This is the Kim Gravel Show.
I'm here with the MoCrazy sisters. Give us a little bit of behind the scenes of your story.
She landed and then caught an edge and whiplashed her head into the snow.
she was very deeply injured and unconscious and she wasn't going to open her eyes and be okay. They don't call a helicopter to the hill unless it can be life-threatening.
But one of the doctors said that I was never going to be normal.
Talk about taking your mess and making it a message.
And I was so angry. I hated her right then. I was so mad. They can always create a life they love to be living if they're willing to take the steps.
If you want to be inspired and lifted up, you've got to go check it out. Okay, y'all, I have got a special episode today. You're going to see why in just a minute, because I have two of the most incredible guests on the show. I've got sisters. I've got Jamie MoCrazy. I can't say that name without going MoCrazy. And her sister, Jeanee Crane-Mauzy. They're here today. Jamie was an extreme skier who suffered a traumatic brain injury while competing at the Skiing World Tour Finals. I mean, can you imagine? She was in a coma, y'all, for 10 days. And when she woke up, her life would never be the same. Since then, she's turned her mess into her message in such a beautiful way. And with the help of her sister, they started a foundation called MoCrazy Strong, where they help survivors of traumatic brain injuries. Y'all, let's welcome the MoCrazy sisters.
Jamie and Jeanee MoCrazy.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. I was just going to keep dancing.
I know. I was going to say, Zach, the MoCrazy, that is the name of all names. Like, how did that come about, y'all? We just got to tell everybody how that came about straight up.
That is a good question. So since I was like 8 months old, so this is a story. Most of my life has to do with stories that I don't actually remember. And I was 8 months old and I climbed up the drapes in our living room. And I got stuck at the top and I said, Mommy helping me, Mommy helping me. And my birth last name was Crane-Mauzy. And so my mom came out and she goes, oh, my little MoCrazy, because she loved the name MoCrazy because it was a combination of Crane-Mauzy all twined up. And then I continued to be a little bit MoCrazy. I was very competitive. I competed in everything.
Clearly.
And then I became a professional skier, and the announcers would say, MoCrazy's on course. And they actually called my sister Tiny MoCrazy, even though she's like 4 inches taller than me now. So I was MoCrazy and she was Tiny MoCrazy.
Well, I mean, I might have to steal that name, to be honest with you, because Zach knows my little sister too, and she is definitely MoCrazy. She MoCrazy.
Yeah. So what MoCrazy means is that you're crazy, but you're a little bit calculated and smart about being crazy. Oh. You're MoCrazy.
I'm in total agreement with that, and I resonate with that. So yeah, you need to make me a MoCrazy sister. I want to be drafted in. Okay, your film, which I watched, and everybody listening within the sound of my voice or watching this right now has got to go watch it. Your film, MoCrazy Strong, tells your story. Take us back. Tell us a little bit of the background about your story, because you were a competitive skier. You had this crazy injury, and it left you in a coma for 10 days. Can you tell everybody a little bit behind the scenes and what happened in your story before we get to the movie?
Yes. So in my story, I would actually like Jeanee to tell it, because Jeanee was at her first ever World Tour Finals, and I don't remember anything that happened, and she witnessed it all.
Yes.
Okay, so how old were you? Like, give it to us in details.
So I was 18 and Jamie was 22. We were in Whistler, Canada for a competition called the World Tour Finals for slopestyle and halfpipe skiing. I only compete in halfpipe, so I was supposed to compete the next day, and I was just watching Jamie in slopestyle. She was trying a new trick that she had done in practice, but not in competition yet. And actually, she landed and then caught an edge and whiplashed her head into the snow. From my position, I was at the top of the hill, so because of the angle of the jump, I couldn't see the landing. But I heard the radio of the ski patrol next to me crackle to life, saying we need all hands on deck and a helicopter on standby, which is when I knew that it was very serious, because they don't call a helicopter to the hill unless it can be life-threatening. At which point I put on my skis and our coach and I skied down to Jamie, and she was just convulsing on the snow, like her eyes rolled black, blood coming out of her mouth. She was like gray, full, like a zombie, completely unnatural. And ski patrol got there at the same time, and more of them just came. It was, it's one of those moments that I can never forget, but it's also blurry at the same time because so much was happening. There was a lot of people trying to say like, oh, Jamie, wake up. But it was very apparent that she wasn't just like knocked out. Like she was very deeply injured and unconscious, and she wasn't going to open her eyes and be okay. Whistler at the time actually had first respond doctors on Hill, so they were able to intubate her and IV her so she stopped convulsing on snow. So before they even put her in a sled, they could stabilize her so she had enough oxygen flow through stable breathing to her head instead of hyperventilating, as well as she wasn't convulsing anymore because through the IV they could give her a sterilizing drug. And then they put her in a sled, and you can see in one of the pictures in our film, one of the ski patrol had to crouch over the sled to manually pump her breath because at that point he was responsible for keeping her alive.
It's such a dramatic story. Jamie, when you were on you were skiing and you were doing this jump or this trick that you were doing, did you know? Do you know what I'm saying? Like the moments before it happened, what was going through your mind? Like, did you know, oh, this is not going well? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, did you have this out of body, like I'm getting ready to do something that's not going to work here?
Well, I do know what you're saying. The thing is, though, I don't have any memory of a week about before. No, I have none of the day. So I don't have any memory. I have skied my whole life, and I have fallen many other times before. And I would guess, because I landed on my feet, so I probably, until like milliseconds before it happened, thought everything was fine. Which actually I think plays into the fact that I had no PTSD because I had no fear prior to the accident. It was just
no memory. No memory. Yeah.
I was, and my whole life prior to my brain injury, as a professional athlete, you fall a lot. You fail a lot. Sure. You struggle a lot. So all that was something I was used to. And so literally it was probably within milliseconds that I had any understanding that something was happening.
Were you wearing a helmet?
Yes. If I was not wearing a helmet, there's no way I would be having this conversation with you.
What's a miracle you're having the conversation now? You were in the coma for 10 days. I'd love both of your perspectives on that. Jamie, do you remember anything being in the coma? Did you see the white light? Did you have any of those experiences, those near-death experiences we always hear about? And Jeannie, what was it like sitting there? Because when you're in a coma, I mean, and for 10 days, that's not good. That's not a good diagnosis.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because when I woke up from the coma, I had serious amnesia. So no memory for like another month after I woke up. And then have very, very fragmented memory for multiple months. So it was a very prolonged process of this memory coming back. And so when I woke up so I have none of these memories now. Like thinking back on it, I don't have memories of this, but when I woke up from the coma, I did have memories that the doctor, one of them,
not the one featured in the film.
We've had some amazing doctors, but one of the doctors said that I was never going to be normal. And I was obsessed with this concept of being normal. And this is somebody who legally changed their last name to MoCrazy. And before my brain injury and after, I was never normal. So my mom was like, why do you want to be normal? And I was like, because that man said I would never be normal. So I did have recollection. And they have done studies that show that even though your cognition is different in a coma, you do have a certain amount of memory. Like you are a human being living there. So you need to be careful about that. And you need to not stand in front of someone in a coma and tell them they're never going to get better. Because
can you believe that? Because you were hearing that. You were, you were absorbing that.
Yes,
as he was saying that. Wow.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, it's definitely the most, it was the biggest trauma that my family had lived through at the time, but we just kept this attitude the whole time, kind of this blindless belief that she was going to be okay and that we were going to go above and beyond. And so starting in the coma is when we started some of our integrative health approach, where my mom talked with the doctor about adding vitamins and minerals into her feeding tube. So she got vitamin B, vitamin C, and fish oil, and also arnica pills in her feeding tube, which isn't part of the normal protocol. But my mom has a certification in nutrition and has studied nutrition for most of her life and understands the science behind how those, vitamins help somebody, especially in a coma. You need more than just the basic nutrition. And so that was approved and implemented by the hospital system. So we started then, and we continued, where we had a lot of scientific backing in our family, mostly through our mom, of integrative health to complement the hospitals and the Western system that we were part of, so that Jamie could have a full recovery. And through that, and just through kind of our blind belief, like she's always going to be okay, and we're not going to accept cancer. And some people did.
Oh, I love that.
Like, oh, you've got to prepare, like you're going to be taking care of her for the rest of your life, or she's never going to be the same, or stuff like that. And we were like, we're not accepting that. We're going to find the resources. We're going to take as long as it takes, but we're going to get her to be an independent intellectual adult again.
Yeah.
How long did that take? How long did that process take? Because a lot of people, they hear the story now and it's this miraculous story, but there's the journey is not always so easy. Well, it's not easy at all, in fact.
So I'm actually going through an ACL recovery today, and my physical therapist explained it to me in a way that's very similar to Jamie's, where at the beginning it was like more exponential, like the growth was bigger. You could see she learned to walk, she learned to talk, and she had to put in minimal efforts to get these big results. And then the end is where it kind of started flattening out, where she had to put in just as much effort, but the changes were so tiny, but all those tiny changes ended up getting her to where she is today.
And it took how long?
I would say it took at least a good 5 years. And one of the big things, as Jeannie pointed out, was that at the beginning, my visible success was applauded a lot. I was a public figure in the little world of skiing. People wanted to hear me give speeches before I could remember what I was talking about. They wanted to hear from me, and they wanted to applaud me when I relearned how to ride a two-wheeler again. They wanted to applaud me when I went back to skiing again and had to relearn everything that they could see. And then I had multiple years of recovery to be able to articulate my words, and my memory retention and my cognitive and emotional challenges were all invisible. And those took multiple years to heal.
Yeah.
And we will have people who saw me and had a conversation with me when I was like 2 years or 3 years out, and then saw me again. It was a jump to like 6 years out, 7 years out. And they're like, wow, you changed. And they don't know how to articulate it, and I don't know how to articulate it, and we don't know how to explain it, but somehow I changed and continued to heal. And that's when I was developing my executive functioning, and that's when I was doing all of those last little things. And the important thing is I continued to know that I wanted to push myself. Because I had been an athlete my whole life, I knew that even the best athletes have coaches and are constantly improving themselves. Even though starting at like a year after, when I still had visible challenges and I was definitely not okay, but I thought I was okay about a year afterwards, I knew I could get better. So that was a huge key aspect, was I continued to improve.
All right, we're going to take a short break, but I've got more with Jamie and Jeannie after this, because I like what you're saying. It took time to see the changes, and somebody's listening right now that's going through some trauma or has been through. Maybe you're in that period where you're putting in the effort and seeing minimal change. We're going to talk more about that with Jamie and Jeannie right after this. There are so many things in life you have to compromise on. Like when my husband Travis wants to buy one drink for the whole table so we can share. Y'all, but when it comes to your health, there is no compromise. So don't go back to that one doctor who doesn't listen to you or barely pays you any attention or answers any questions you're asking just because they take your insurance. Instead, check out ZocDoc. It's the place where you can find and book doctors who will make you feel comfortable, listen to you, and prioritize your health. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book your appointment with them online. And you can search by location, availability, and even your insurance. So literally no compromise here because with ZocDoc, you've got more options than you can even imagine. Once you find the doc you want, then you can book them immediately. Like no more waiting 20 minutes on hold with an overworked receptionist. And these doctors have verified reviews from actual real patients that you can read right there. I mean, I use ZocDoc and you should too. Just go to ZocDoc.com/Kim and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Kim. That's ZocDoc.com/Kim. And enjoy the ease and confidence of finding that doctor, the perfect doctor for you, who's in your area and takes your insurance. God, it's just that easy, y'all. Hey, y'all, are you looking for a game-changing listen? Well, I've got to tell you about this podcast I think you're going to love, Be the Way Forward. On the show, AnitaB.org president and CEO Brenda Darden Wilkerson is driving into some incredible chats with tech trailblazers like Arlen Hamilton and creative powerhouses like Janelle Monáe. I mean, y'all, this isn't just another tech talk show, right? It's your front row seat, y'all, to the minds shaping the future. And you know I love that. So if you're ready to drive change and be a part of the movement, it's time to get plugged in to Be the Way Forward wherever you stream your favorite podcast. I'm telling you, they are changing the way we see tech today. All right, y'all, I'm here with the MoCrazy sisters. I just want to jump back in, Jamie and Jeannie, because I want to talk about how it took you like years, over 5 years to get back to should we do normal? Should I do the air quotes and do normal way of life? I mean, because you're not really normal, and your story's not normal, but, just to that functioning life. You told me you were skiing. You went skiing. You put on a pair of skis after all this.
I did. And I love
that.
skiing.
Is MoCrazy. That is MoCrazy.
Although the interesting thing is that the number one place to get a traumatic brain injury is in the bathroom. So unless you're going to tell me that you're never going to go to the bathroom again, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to continue to ski. I did.
That's some Elvis level stuff right there. I'm sorry. I have to break in. That's Elvis level stuff.
Yeah.
Why the bathroom?
Because everything is hard and there's a lot of sharp corners and it's all slippery. And so the number one place with slips and falls that actually results in a brain injury is in the bathroom. But when we do our policy work, it's great because everyone loves to say, well, if we don't have skiing, your story doesn't apply. But
no, that's
the state where you have bathrooms, and it does apply to you as well.
And then number two is car accidents. So if you're going to tell me you're never going to get in a car again and you're never going to go into a bathroom, well, then we can talk about that I might not ski again.
But actually, our family never questioned that. She went back to skiing with professionals at 8 months after her injury, and that was one of those kind of blind expectations that our family just was like, well, we come from a long line of skiers. Our grandmother was a professional skier in the 40s, and if you can walk, you can ski.
That is something important, though, that she brought up. I went back with a company that was trained in physical disability and cognitive disability. So if you have a change in your ability level, you can get back to doing whatever you want to do in life, but you have to be aware to do it safely. If I had just gone back on my own, I would not have understood my changes in ability level, and I would have been a danger to myself and others. And that's something that's important with brain injury recovery, is to make sure that there are policy and protocol in place and people are guided to not be a danger to themselves or society.
Okay, so after all of this, and y'all have got to go watch the movie. It's amazing, and we're going to give you all that information at the end of the show. But MoCrazy Strong is a brain injury foundation. And you started this. It focuses on what's possible, right? After a brain injury. It raises awareness. It increases the opportunities through research, education, and programs. How did that come to be? And what is that like now today? I mean, talk about taking your mess and making it a message. This is like, how did that all happen?
Jamie was, quite a well-known skier in the ski industry. So her accident was very public right away. So I came up with the hashtag MoCrazy Strong. MoCrazy was already our name, MoCrazy Strong, because MoCrazy was going to get strong, and kind of collected everything from there. Also, within the first year, we started doing peer-to-peer counseling with other families that had been going through similar injuries. And we had a lot more availability and knowledge as a family than many of them do. We had a doctor, we had an Ivy League educated early childhood development specialist. We had people
A sister who is a doctor.
Yes, our oldest sister,
Family.
doctor. Yes.
Yeah.
And so we had ability to provide more for Jamie's recovery than the system provides. And so we can help fill in the gap of the system through what we did with Jamie and what is continued to be studied. Our mom is in a PhD program right now studying mind-body medicine with a focus on brain injury recovery. So collecting the actual data and the science. So it's not just, Jamie's story was a miracle. While it's actually repeatable, there's strong evidence that many of the things we did with her will increase recovery for everybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the things I always say is that it's true. You can't promise people that they will have my recovery. However, you also can't promise them that they will not. And if they take steps to better their life, no matter what changes in ability have developed from their brain injury, they can always create a life they love to be living if they're willing to take the steps.
What if somebody is suffering right now with a brain injury of any kind? What can the foundation do for them? Can they reach out to you and get information? Okay, tell me about that, because I just felt that. I was like, I wonder if, and does it work for any brain injury, what you guys, propose and give?
Yes, so we run a program called the MoCrazy Method, and it goes through the different steps that we did with Jamie, and they are peer-to-peer science reviewed, and they are led by our mom, who is a PhD candidate and also an Ivy League graduate in 2 different master's programs. So we have, the real backing to have these programs, and they are applicable to people in all different stages of development. The more intense your development and your rehab is earlier on, the easier it is to get results, but you can still get results, and we still have people go through our programs 20 and 30 years after brain injuries.
And
the MoCrazy method. Go ahead, Jamie. Go ahead.
And let me say something about our programs. So this is based off of what happened to me when I was in the hospital, and my mind was still very fuzzy. My whole right side of my body was paralyzed because of the brainstem damage. And so what did my mom do? She taped down my strong side. So I had to work and utilize my weak side. So I'd build those habits, which is what neuroplasticity is, the building of habits to rewire your brain. She forced me to do that. And I was so angry. I hated her right then. I was so mad. However, if that had not happened, I would not have the result I had. So when you do this boot camp, it will be challenging, but you will better your result in the process.
Okay, so the MoCrazy method gives you that physicality, the science, all of that. But does it also talk to you about like setting goals? Like, is there this, for lack of a better word, this inspirational aspect to it too? you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie and I are both part of the program, so we're at every meeting, and then you're going through this transformation with others that have also, suffered from similar injuries, and so you have that camaraderie amongst each other, and then we try to stay connected and have monthly meetups. We try to help encourage them. We hear so much, I can't in brain injury, I can't do this, I can't do that, and we try to help encourage them that you can. It may be different and it may be hard, but, someone recently told us, well, I can't play golf because I had a brain injury. But like,
Have you tried?
why not? Like, it's
I love Jamie.
kind of hard. I'm not a good golfer at all. I'm terrible. But like, if you want to go to a range and hit a ball, go try. You're not hurting anyone in the process. And a little struggle is good for you.
Oh, Lord, come tell my kids that, please. Anyway, Jamie, you said in the film you felt washed up at 23. Okay. How do you move past, or how did you move past this initial feeling of loss? Because I'm sure someone's watching right now and they feel like like the golfer. I can't golf again.
So the two things that really helped me move past that feeling of completely stuck was one, I went to therapy. Finding someone to help you is a good thing to be doing. I didn't think I needed therapy. I was like, I'm fine. I should be lucky. I should be happy. And my mom actually convinced me to go to therapy. I cried the whole first session, loved it. It was a life-changing thing. And then the second thing to do is find somewhere where you need to set goals and then set attainable goals to reach those goals. So for me, I went back to my university. I hadn't graduated yet because of my skiing career. So I went back and I had teachers who graded me. And during finals week, I was like, why did I want to be graded? But I actually got,
really?
Yeah, I'm like, really? But I actually got straight A's that first semester. And it's interesting because that first exam that I had in math, I got a C- on. And so I knew I wanted to do well, and I knew a C- is not doing well. So I did what it took to be better. I went to lots of extra work programs and stuff like that. And then by the end, got a high enough grade that I ended the semester with an A. And that was so important for me to have something tangible and concrete in that structure. And so what we advise people is to go back to your community college and take a class, or do an art class, or join a book club, or a Pilates class. Like there's so
you're saying work the muscle. Work the muscle,
exactly. Right? And with an injury as severe as Jamie's, it was like she was reborn again and went through all the stages of development. And where the system ends is like a middle school level. Like you can walk pretty well, you can talk, you can get by. But we wanted her to be an independent intellectual adult. We didn't want her to maintain being a middle school level intellect while she was in her 20s. And so my mom did algebra with her again. We had a specific personal fitness trainer to work on her balance. When she was talking about her hand, she used to only talk with her left hand. And every time we were in a social setting, I would just push it down. And she gets so mad at me again, like what are you doing?
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, and hard. But we had to regrow that pathway through the damage in her brainstem that her right hand needed to become dominant again because she's a right-handed person. And going back to university and getting a university degree after brain injury is definitely one of the contributing factors to being able to then be an independent intellectual adult. The other one quick aspect is that social interaction. We don't talk about that really at all through the system of brain injury.
So important.
But if you have kids, you understand that you have to teach them social skills sometimes. Like when you have like a 5-year-old.
Isn't that, especially today, girl, with technology.
Right? I mean, when you have a small child, you teach them like, like hitting someone in the face is not appropriate, or calling somebody names. I mean, you can have your exceptions, but you teach them social skills. And after brain injury, people are so scared to offend the person who has survived the brain injury. They think that it's impossible for them to learn social skills. It's not their place. They're super uncomfortable, all these things. And you really have to actually go through those same developmental stages of like, well, this is appropriate. this is why those things are or aren't appropriate in these scenarios. And then you can have a socially acceptable person.
Like, I had a friend that I called 20 times because he didn't answer the phone.
Jamie, I think I've done that with like an ex-boyfriend. So I don't know if that's because of the brain injury or it's just I'm a stalker 19. I don't know.
Well, that's what I say about the human factor of a brain injury, because after my brain injury, I lost everything excessively. And guess what? I still lose my phone. And my husband will be like, babe, look in your pocket. Or I'll like lose it and it's like hanging around my neck. That doesn't have to do with the brain injury. But if it's extensive, it does have to do with brain injury.
No, I hear what you're saying. And I love it because I love that you're taking Jamie and Jeannie, and I love that you're doing it together as sisters. What an amazing blessing that is. But how you're offering encouragement, practical skills, and inspiration to move on past a traumatic brain injury or any brain injury for that matter. What do you hope the movie does for people when they watch it?
I hope that it resonates with them. We always hear from so many brain injury survivors that they feel alone, even though brain injury is the largest acquired disability in the U.S. alone. So you are not alone if you are struggling from a brain injury. And I hope that through watching the film, you understand that there's a whole community of people out there that are survivors, family caregivers, professionals, and that you can have support, you can have a fulfilling life, and that you can be actually alive to thrive.
And there are ways that you can recover. That's another big thing, is that people think something tragic happened to them and they're destined to be disabled forever. And you are able to better your life and create a life you love. Like, we've had conversations with so many individuals who said, wow, that film shows that I'm not making up my struggles. They're real, and that I can fix them. That's real too.
Y'all have got to go see the film. I'm going to tell you exactly where you can go watch this film. But before I do that, before I let you guys go, okay, Jeannie and Jamie, I'm going to do what we call rapid fire questions. So rapid fire is what comes up, comes out. Do not censor yourself and don't think about it. I did this with my sister on TikTok and it exploded. It was tons of fun. So I'm just going to ask you a question and then I want you just to say together in unison what you think. Like if you think it's Jamie, say Jamie. If you think it's Jeannie, say Jeannie. Like I'm going to say, who likes chocolate cake? You know, and then you just answer right out loud, okay? We're going to see how in tune the two I get it every time I say it. The MoCrazy sisters really, really are. Okay, here we go.
Rapid fire questions.
Which one of you two sisters is the funny one?
Jamie.
Who is the better driver?
Jeannie.
Oh, God, they're going to be good at this, Zach. Who's most likely to cry in a sad movie?
Jamie.
Who's most likely to sleep through your alarm?
Jeannie.
Yeah, really Jilly, the youngest sibling.
Jilly.
All right, Jilly, they're throwing you under the bus game here. My God.
How big is your family?
We had 5 siblings. The oldest one is the one that passed away from cancer 2 years ago. So now there's 4 siblings.
Well, I'm telling you, your parent, you got a strong parents. Okay, here we go. Spend their money on something weird.
Probably me.
Yeah.
Who's most likely to have their cell phone battery die?
Jamie.
Jamie. I said it too. I could tell. How did I know that? How did I know that it would be Jamie?
You're ready to get a MoCrazy sister, right?
I'm so getting ready to be grafted in. It's not even funny. Who is the messiest?
Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah, I could say that too. I don't know why I can tell that, Jamie. I think you and I are very similar. You're a very passionate person. Okay. Who has better style?
Jeannie.
That's like my biggest passion is clothes. So actually for all of the film festivals we went to, I designed and sewed my own outfit. So I have like a
Jeannie
collection and I think that clothes is an artwork. I love it. And I dress her most of the time.
Sounds like Jeannie's running the show. Here we go. Who is most likely to end up in jail?
Me.
That
If one of you had to go to jail, who could survive?
Again, this is another sister.
yeah, we had one of those. The one that is silent the whole time. That one.
Yeah, we're not talking about her. We're not talking about her. She goes, our other sister. And she's right over there. Okay, we're moving on. Now I have a question for both of you, and I want both of you to answer. Okay, who is your celebrity crush, Jeannie?
It's my celebrity crush.
You got one, girl.
Watson.
I always go with Emma Watson. I love her style.
Oh, she's fantastic. I know too. I love her style too. Okay, hey, what about you, Jamie?
Celebrity crush. I know.
It's hard to think about on this spot.
Yeah, it is hard to think about on the spot. There's like a lot of things I like. I have a crush on about a lot of different people, but then there's all things I don't have a crush on about them.
You have to pick one.
You have to pick one.
No one's perfect.
I know.
Nope.
No one is perfect, and they wouldn't be a good crush if they were perfect. Well, it's not a celebrity crush, but like who I idolize and look up to the most is Mel Robinson.
Oh, I love that. Perfect. I love her. She's so fabulous. She's a celebrity. We'll go with that. Yeah. Favorite junk food, Jeannie? And it has to be junk. Okay, don't give me like celery with ranch dip. I don't want to hear that. I want junk, nasty junk food.
How about Girl Scout cookies?
Oh, oh my gosh. What kind? Like there's
Samoas.
Tagalongs, Samoas. I'm not even a coconut girl and love those.
That's the wrong
I'm
answer.
with you.
I'm sorry.
It's not the wrong answer.
That's
It's
the wrong
not.
answer
Jeannie,
for me.
you're dead on right. You're dead on
What is
right.
your answer, Zach?
Girl Scout cookies?
Tagalongs.
It's tagalongs all the way. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the way.
I like all of them.
Those are good as well.
I could take down like 3 boxes of tagalongs right now. Let's not talk about that. Go ahead, Kim.
Oh, easy. Could just wolf them down. Okay,
Right?
Jamie, what about you? Favorite junk food?
Does ice cream count?
Of
Yes.
course. What
Okay.
kind? You got to give me flavor.
Okay. What we have the most is the deepest, chocolatiest ice cream. Fudgy,
It just-
chocolatey chunk.
Fudgy, just any nuts or no, nut free?
Well, I like nuts, and my husband definitely does not like nuts. So I could go.
Then get the
50-50 either
nuts.
way.
No, get the nuts and he won't touch it. That's the way to do it. And you'll have it all for yourself. All right. One last question, one last rapid fire. What is your hope for the foundation for the future?
To change the system and the public's perception of brain injury and the opportunities for those who have suffered and their family members to recover and thrive after.
All right, y'all, you have got to go watch this film, and you can follow Jamie and Jeannie. Jamie is at Jamie MoCrazy, and Jeannie is at Jeanee Crane-Mauzy. Check out their foundation and the film at MoCrazyStrong.org, and you can listen to Jamie's podcast, Life Gets MoCrazy, and support the incredible work that these sisters are doing. They're changing lives. And listen, if you're dealing with a brain injury of any kind, go and reach out to them. Take the MoCrazy method and really know that your health and your healing is just that one click away. Girls, thank you so much for coming on and being on the show. I'm telling you, the film is fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
That means so much. It's
a
a lot of work.
A lot of work, but it paid off and you're changing lives. Y'all got to come back and be with us. Best of luck to you guys. I love you so much. Keep being MoCrazy, y'all.
Thank
you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And if you like this episode, then share it with somebody and help me grow this community of women who love who we are and who they are and who you are right where we are at. It's free to join my newsletter. So just go to thekimgravelshow.com. That's kimgravelshow.com and sign up. You'll be able to get access to bonus content like listener voicemails and other behind the scenes videos. It's just, more importantly, it's just a community. You know, we just want you to be part of our community, and you'll be part of the Love Who You Are community. You'll always have friends. You'll always have the sisterhood. And you'll always feel a little bit better about yourself afterwards. So go and sign up. We just want to keep in touch with you. We love you so much. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and for sharing and letting everybody know about the Kim Gravel Show. Remember, love who you are right where you're at. Love y'all.
Bye.
Oh my God, I love him. MoCrazy. Isn't that a great name?
I'm putting you on the spot for the intro. I'm just giving you a warning right now.
I love it. Can you imagine me in football pads?
I can imagine you like in shoulder pads, like in the 80s, you know?
I hate to tell you, I look good in that uniform too. Just saying. Zach, you're taking it a step too far. Step too far.
That's a step too far.
If you like this episode, here's another one I think you're going to love. Zach, how long am I going to have to point at this? Is this enough?